Hey, everybody. Today's conversation spans the globe. I am in San Diego, California, and my beautiful conversationalist today, this stranger that we are about to meet, is sitting in India. So we are crossing dimensions, crossing time zones, crossing geographic locations. And how beautiful that we can have a conversation in a room with strangers from around the world. And I'm really looking forward to meeting this person with you. Here's what I'm trying to do here in general. When I realized that every single person, no matter how rich they were or how poor they were, what color their skin, what religion they practiced or didn't practice, how big their house or how um, torn their cardboard box, everybody wanted the same three things. They wanted to be loved and accepted. They wanted to be listened to and heard. They wanted to be acknowledged and validated for what they believed. I realized that I could do that. But it's not that I'm special that I can do that. You can do that too. It doesn't take a college degree. It doesn't take an ordination in a certain religious belief system. It doesn't take a doctorate degree. All it takes is the desire to really hold the space for another person, to be able to share themselves with you and to listen to what they have to say. So today, I'm looking very, very much forward to opening up that space for Prema Satya. Prema Satya, welcome to 50 Conversations with 50 Strangers. How are you today?
I'm really good, Daniel. I've been looking forward to this interview.
Okay, good. Tell me why you've been looking forward to this interview.
Because it's a step forward for me. It's the first time I'm doing anything on social media, so that's a step forward.
Wow,
And it's the
congratulations.
first time, thank you. And it's the first time I'm meeting you, so that's always interesting for me to meet something new. And now that you've just gave a summary of your rationale for doing these conversations, the three things you named about being listened to, validated and loved are three things that I've been working hard on myself in life, and I'm still work in progress. So it's interesting that I set myself up to share, and those are your three rationale. And I think it's a really wonderful idea, and I'm so glad now that I decided to do the interview, because I really support your intention. And I liked what you said about, regardless of a person's background, these are my words, we are all unique. And my feeling is, from my own experience and living in the world, that for most of us it's a journey in realizing that we're unique. And so I'm a cheerleader for your project anyway.
Well, I'm a cheerleader for you. So I think we should end the call because I don't think we can get any better than where we are. No, I'm just teasing. Um,
Okay.
tell people who are listening, Prima, who you are and what's important to you.
The two things that really stand out for me from my life to date, I'm now 58, nearly 59 soon, are love and truth. And I see them as interchangeable anyway. And I'm trying to live my life by those two principles. I fail every day, but I don't beat myself up about it, because it's not really failure as such, it's learning. But I find that the more I work at living like this, the more joy I feel, and the more good I feel generally about all things in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of good teachers along the way. Teachers who I never thought were teachers till my life progressed. But when I was considering your interview, I was wondering, what will I talk about? Then I decided I'm not going to prepare anything. I did pull out 2 of my poems, but it isn't to sell because my work is only for healing purposes. But one of the things that came to me yesterday, it's almost like whilst I wasn't intentionally preparing for the interview, the universe was giving me some preparation. And I remembered something from a child. When I was a child growing up in the UK, I was born in England. In
I can't hear you all of a sudden. Something happened. I can't hear you. Suddenly,
somebody rang.
now I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah, you've gone off the screen. Oh, here. Yeah. They used to have individual sweet stores. Now they're just mostly big supermarkets. But there used to be a little sweet store near my infant.
You're having somebody ring you again and you're going on mute. You're on mute again. So for those of you who are listening, she is in India. Apparently she's getting a call or something's happening. Here, she's back now.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
So I used to go in this sweet store and they used to have a type of confectionery at the time called a lucky bag.
Uh-huh.
And if you bought this lucky bag, you didn't know which sweets you were going to get in it, but there would be a range of things like a lollipop, a jelly thing and things like that. And I hadn't remembered about a lucky bag in years, in eons. But yesterday, the universe reminded me of these lucky bags. And it was like a bit of humour, but a seriousness to it for me and doing this interview. And my life has been like a lucky bag. And I really do believe we all have elements of luck and times of luck, and sometimes the lucky bag is really full, and other times I felt, oh, it's empty. But on the whole, I feel I've had a lot of teachers who were like getting one of those lucky bags. And as I only realised more in my 50s, I would say. I don't know whether when you're starting to get older and you get a greater sense of your mortality, but I was having more of life reviews.
Mm.
And in these life reviews, I was realising that I've always had an interest in the this is a phone I bought. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
I've always had interest in the Akashic records, and all these people who have shown up in my life from infant school to when I left school, I realised in reviewing my life that they all were already seeing me and appreciating my gifts and my strengths and my areas where I needed to improve.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all staring me in the face, but I wasn't able to see it when I was younger. It's only when I got older that I realised from some of my experiences, like I've ended up in a lot of public sector roles. And in my school years, they were saying I was a very sociable person. And so I needed that kind of strength or characteristic to fulfill those roles. But if I'd really paid attention earlier to all these signs that I was getting, I would have saved myself a lot of hard work in trying to understand myself, because the right flags or right signs were coming at the right time, but I wasn't ready to listen to them.
Welcome to the
So,
world. I think you're not
pardon?
alone in that.
Yeah.
I think so many of us, when we look back, we see, if we could only see now then what we see now, it would have been so much easier for us. But sometimes the roads that we had to take get us to where we are now, that we can see what we didn't see then. But it's interesting. Prima, what makes you happy?
Love, listening to truth, listening to the rainfall. I had the good fortune to go to Peru, and I saw this in a dream. I was standing by the Amazon with my arms outstretched, and I couldn't understand what this dream was about. And then a few months later, I got invited there, and I was sleeping in the jungle and listening to the Amazon, and that made me very happy. It was such a beautiful experience just hearing, especially at night when everybody was sleeping, just hearing the sound of the Amazon. I have so many things that make me happy. Very simple things, really, like meeting someone sincere like yourself, seeing nature, having a nice meal with somebody who I cherish, doing things which will help others. I have a very big list. I don't think I could answer it very simply, to be honest.
But that it's so nice because so often people don't even know what makes them happy. So I love that you have a big list of things that make you happy, and you know what they are, and you're conscious of them. Um, if money weren't important, how would you spend your days?
If money weren't important, well, I'm already blessed that I was retired at 49. So I just do like, in India they call it seva.
I lost you again. They call it
So
seva.
I'm saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't important to me, money, but I found that the less I have, the more satisfied I am. And when I've had more, I've not used it to the best value. So it got me caught in things that I didn't need, like, say, buying extra clothes or
Right.
too many books.
So to people who are not that way, talk to me about the simplicity of minimalism.
I don't think I'm that well qualified, but I'll share my
Well,
own
you
experience.
said you're happier sometimes when you have less things, because when you have more money, you spend it on things that you don't need. So when you have less money, you probably don't spend, you spend it on only things that you do need. Or do you still spend money on things you don't need even when you have less of it?
I haven't perfected the art yet, it is such a thing, but in the minimalism, I find that I'm satisfied with just a couple of sets of clothes so that I've got enough to do a wash and put a clean set on. I don't have all these gadgets and things. I borrowed this phone for this interview, and the person's probably going to sell it to me to reduce price. But I only tend to buy things what I really need now, which are really necessary for daily living, because if I go back to how I used to be, where I was caught in comfort buying, it's just an empty vessel for me. So in having less, I found I had more, and the more I have is the satisfaction.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. We're going to change the context a little bit. We're going to go into what I call lightning round, but I'm not very good at lightning round. Lightning round is normally quick questions, quick answers, but I don't do that very well.
Okay.
But we'll just use the questions to sort of get us moving forward. The first few are pretty easy. Are you a dog person or a cat person?
Neither.
Neither. Are you an animal person at all?
No.
Okay. How about coffee or tea?
I gave them up.
You gave up coffee and tea?
Yes.
How come?
I didn't I didn't touch tea for 30 years, but I touched coffee. I can say I can count on two hands in the last 3 years.
Wow. How
And
come
that
you
was
gave
simply because I met someone in my life who was following a path, and they said tea and coffee weren't good for me, and they were stimulants for the brain. And this person showed up at a time when I needed some help, and so out of respect and realizing what they said had some truth, I gave them
Beautiful.
up. I wasn't much of a coffee drinker, I was more of a tea drinker at the time, but I haven't missed them.
Beautiful. Would you say you're somebody who is in the box or out of the box?
I'm not sure whether I know what you in the box or out of the box means. Could you just explain what you're meaning?
Yeah. Do you sort of follow the ways of other people or do you make your own way?
I'm on the periphery.
Tell me about that.
Um, I go into the centre sometimes, so then I'm part of the community. Um, and so in that, then I'm in the box. But most of the time, I'm out of the box, because on the periphery, I'm able to function better.
Hmm. And why is that? Why on the periphery are you able to function better?
I've not been very good in my life at making myself understood.
Mm.
That's the best way I can explain it. And it's better if I take the responsibility
Yeah.
rather than I shouldn't point the finger. So I would say there's something in me which I don't always make myself understood, and so then I can be misunderstood. And so the periphery is my saving grace.
Okay. Um, Knowing that you have not always made yourself understood, I'm going to ask you a question now, both of which are the right answers, but I want to know what's more important for you right now. Is it more important for you to be able to stand up and speak the voice that you have and be heard? Or is it more important for you to listen to other people who speak their voice and allow them to be heard?
It used to be the first way, and I've become less attached to that, and I'm still work in progress, but patience has enabled me to appreciate more that I don't necessarily have to do that speaking, or it's
Yeah.
not as vital. Before, when I was more caught in not being able to validate myself, it was more of an urgency to get myself heard. Sometimes life is very funny, because when I understand myself better now, it would probably be perfect to speak up and be understood, but it's less important to me, so I can let other people, take the stand.
So
I don't know whether I explain myself very well now,
no,
but
yeah, no, you did beautifully, and I think that it's oftentimes that when it becomes less important to us, we're better at it than when it was more important to us, because we're not trying to push something down somebody's throat. We're just it doesn't matter, but we're able to express ourselves clearly then, because we have no agenda to what it is we're trying to say, except to say what's on our mind. I think that's beautiful. Do you feel like you fit into the world, or have you always felt a little different?
um, I've always felt I wouldn't use the word different. I've always felt that I didn't belong. I'm more, um, I would say I'm not a earth person.
What does that mean?
The spiritual world has always attracted me more than the physical world. So um, I'm also work in progress in um, let's say I become more acclimatized to the physical world as I grow older, like a vintage wine.
Prima, excuse me. There's a sound behind you. I don't know if that's a sound that's right there, or is it a result of something that's happening, but it's sort of like a zzz, it's like a ringing sound.
Yes, it'll stop in a minute. I'm where my apartment is.
Now you're on mute.
There's a temple next door, and
Oh,
so it'll stop in a minute. I'm
okay.
so sorry.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to see what it was. So go back to what you were saying.
Bells ringing.
I see. Okay.
Um, I
You were saying that you're not of this earth, really. You're of spirit.
yes, it's trouble. I Yeah, I'm acclimatizing more now to fitting in,
Why do you think you came here?
but it's not that important to me.
So why do you think you're here?
Um, I'm part of the master plan, like we all are, and I have things in my lucky bag to share with the world.
Okay. Does the world have something in its lucky bag to share with you?
Absolutely.
What do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think? What do you think you're here to learn from the world?
Love. Love and belonging, um, fitting in.
Hmm.
Um, it's a very long list, actually, if I go into it. All
Hmm.
the things that I came here to learn myself, I'm getting from the world. Um,
So I'm just interested. This is, and I just want to, because I know a lot of people in the spiritual world who feel that they are really not connected to this world. They're really connected more into a world of spirit. I lived a lot of years like that myself. And
no, I'm connected to this world, but it's been like an assault course for me. You know, um, like if you had to go on military training, managing the physical world has been more of a challenge to me than the spiritual world. I
mm,
come as a sensitive, so I felt everything very deep in my heart. So you can say I got a lot of aftershocks, like when there's been an earthquake.
yeah,
So I really had to learn how to manage my sensitivity and my heart in the world. Um, so, um, you know, the world was, and all the people who showed up and experiences have been um, giving me the space to um, strengthen my heart so that I can just be
beautiful,
both, so that I can navigate both the spirit and the physical.
beautiful. Would you say you live more in your head or in your heart?
It's a difficult question for me because I'm very heart centered, and at the same time, I'm still working at not being a slave to my mind.
What does that mean?
That's the best way I can answer it.
Okay, beautiful. Um, would you say
It
you're a
means it means that I'm between the two. I'm
okay?
not either or. I'm still in the process of being between the two. It would be beautiful if I was just completely in the heart, but I haven't reached there, and I'm okay about that.
Yeah, yeah. Would you say you're a leader or a follower?
A leader.
So when you look at the world, do you see good leadership?
Yes, I see. Um, I see. There's a lot of good everywhere, and the true leaders aren't necessarily always in um, in the top spots,
Hmm.
um, and I would say there's a lot of invisible leaders who really are doing the leading in the world,
I love that.
and they don't have to be that visible, because if they were, they would be curtailed.
I love that. It's a unique answer and and I think a beautiful answer. And I think it's true. I think I agree
Thank
with
you.
you on that. Do you think
Thank
people
you.
are more similar than they are different, or more different than they are similar?
I think we're all the same when I've got the image of drilling down into a pit, yeah? And the more you drill, to me, we're just all one beating heart. And we've all come with the same ingredients, but we don't always get to know all the recipes that are within us.
Hmm.
And we're not meant to. But really, in that context, we're all similar. But when we don't discover those things, then we see all the differences.
Yeah. I often say on the periphery of our lives we're very different, but in the center of our lives we're all the same, or we're very similar. So, um,
Yours is a more concise and simple answer.
well, it's maybe more thought out because I think about those things pretty often. Do you, when you look at the world today, I mean, at least in America here, we're going through quite a bit of stuff of upheaval. We're looking at a Me Too movement that was just a few years ago where women were standing up to say, I'm not going to, like, you can't treat me like that anymore. We're looking at a pandemic that has taken the lives of 150,000 people here in the US and has isolated us and kept us from doing simple things like hugging each other and being with each other and showing up for each other because now this invisible virus is spreading through our air. We look at race relations where people of color, black and brown, are standing up to say we matter and our lives matter too. And I'm wondering if you feel like the world is trying to say something to us. Do you feel the world's trying to say something to us?
Well, I don't know whether I'm allowed to say this because you said about philosophy,
You're
but
allowed to say
I'll
everything.
mention God. Okay, I do have a guru, but I'll stick to God
You can say your
for
guru.
now.
What's your
For
guru's name?
me, pardon?
Who's your guru?
Sri Satya Sai Baba.
Okay, beautiful. I love
Sri
Sai.
Satya Sai Baba.
Yeah, I love Sai Baba.
Um, what I'm okay, thank you. What I would say is for me, there's a lot of light shining in the world at the moment. So much light, and I'm not feeling all that suffering. I'm feeling so much light. I feel a big cleanup is going on, and when cleanups are going on, then suffering comes, but suffering is never without light. So I feel it's a very wonderful time for everyone to gather themselves and decide whether they need to pull their socks up or shave themselves off and dust themselves down, put on a new hat, or yeah, I feel it's the best way I can equate it to, although I wasn't born in this era, is things like World War II or even Hiroshima that happened, I think, before I was born. But pivotal moments in history, they bring a lot of profound change, and I think this is a very pivotal time in the world. With many things, not just because of COVID, but you mentioned the Me Too movement, and you know, there's all the environmental things going on. I
Yeah.
feel there's so much light. I was speaking with somebody a couple of months ago, and they were on about so many darkness things and fearful things. And I thought, is there something wrong with me because I'm only seeing light? But even in all this pandemic now, I feel there's so much light.
So do you feel the world is trying to tell us to see the light?
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
I feel the world is, I feel that there's a saying, the second bite of the cherry. I think when things like this happen, we get a chance to get a second bite of the cherry. And so, you know, nobody can really influence you in the end. You can decide, you know, okay, I don't want it this way, I want it that way. And yeah.
Beautiful. You've said a lot, Prema, in this, and I really appreciate you opening up and sharing the way you think, because it's a beautiful way to think. If you had, if you knew the world was listening to you right now, and you could say anything you want, what is it you'd like to say?
Um, would it be possible for me to say it in one of my poems?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. I wrote this poem to help somebody who was in pain. But then it was a gift for me because I realized the poem was universal, because the last word has the first name of my guru, but I realized I could change it to God, Shiva, Allah, Jesus, or whatever. So it's called Universal Blessing. And my poetry is only for healing. So I think that with the highest intention, because, you know, I'm mindful that you said it's not about philosophy and sell, and I do not wish to, you know, break that code. So it's called Universal Blessing, and hopefully this will be what I say to the world. I walked this path in moments of joy and sorrow. All the while, like a beautiful water fountain, you bathed me. Only now do I truly know. In my growing wisdom, you have bathed and showered me with your grace from the moment I took birth. I know in my heart of hearts, you will continue to do so, because you truly love me, my darling God.
Beautiful. Very beautiful. So, the message you then want to say to the world is what?
Um, no matter what, hope springs eternal.
I love that. Prema Satya, thank you so much for your time. If
Thank you.
if
And I want to say, I feel this work you are doing is going to lead to many other things, and it's a very unique idea what you've come up with and that you've been blessed with, and I wish it all the success in the world, and I feel it will be a roaring success, and well done.
Thank you so very much. If people, do you have a way for people to get in touch with you if people want to get in touch with you?
Um, I haven't decided on that yet, but people do contact me, but I haven't made myself, this is a step doing this,
Yeah,
because of what I told you before we started
yeah,
recording, that was one of the reasons.
I understand.
But if you come up with any ideas, I'm
Okay.
happy to hear those. And
Well,
you know,
some
at the end of the day, you go on,
no, you go ahead.
go on. Sorry. I was
Some
just going to say, whoever's meant to contact me will be sent to me.
okay. And sometimes, in this world where everybody is pushing a message or trying to build a following or do all that thing, there's something so innocent and something so sweet about someone who just in the moment says what they feel in that moment with no desire to have people contact them or reach them or find them or learn more from them. But if you want to know more about Prema Satya, perhaps you can get in touch with me, and then I can run something by her to see if there's a way for you to get in touch with her. But maybe just listen to this over and over again. For those of you who are listening who feel moved, listen to the words that she says. Listen to the feeling that she gives across. There's a certain innocence and a certain purity to the way that this conversation in this room has gone, that it's almost very fitting that there's not a follow up to it. That it's just, this is the moment now. If you enjoy the moment, um, that hope springs eternal. And that you don't need her to tell you that. You just need perhaps to understand that for yourself, and just believe that. Um, I want to thank you so much, Prema, for being here with us. I want to thank those of you who listen to the show for being here with us. If you love
Thank
what
you.
Prema's saying and what happened in the show, I ask you that you share it with your friends and let people know that the show is here. And also, I challenge you, just like I challenge every show at the end of every show. We live in a world where we are strangers, but we're really not strangers. All it takes is one conversation with somebody in an entirely different nation, in an entirely different time zone across many, many miles. And we realize that who was a stranger that I didn't know 20 minutes ago or an hour ago is now somebody that's my friend, that I've taken time to just listen to her and hear her and feel her. And I love the perspective that she brings to the world that we're living in. And so, why don't you do the same thing? Why don't you just reach out to someone you don't know? You can do it on social media. You can do it in real time, in real life. Walk up to someone you don't know and just ask them. Excuse me, I've got hiccups. And just ask them, "How are you?" And just listen. There's no need to change them. There's no need to fix them. There's no need to convert them. There's no need to do anything. Just listen to what another person says and spend time with them and enjoy the process of getting to know somebody else. What I find in this room is that we walk in as strangers and we walk out as friends. And there could be no better place for this world that we live in now, to be a world of friends, because friends will help each other through trying times, will help show the light to each other in the way that they can. And it's with that gift of friendship that I invite you to share this room with others. If you know of other people who want to have a conversation, please invite them to contact me. I started it out as 50 conversations with 50 strangers. We're in the second edition of that. We're in now around 75 conversations. My goal is to make it thousands and thousands of conversations and to have thousands and thousands of other people starting up these conversations as well, so that the world feels that there is always somebody who listens to them. Prema, before we go, is there something that you want to just say that you didn't get a chance to say?
I'm not surprised that the intention has become thousands and thousands, because you're creating a very rich repository for future generations to come, which will provide a level of sustenance that cannot be put into words.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. And for those of
Okay,
you,
good luck, Daniel.
thank you. And to you too. And to those of you who listen, thank you again so much. Until the next stranger enters this room, stranger things have happened than just sitting with somebody else that you don't know and having them leave as a friend, someone that you love, someone that you want to work with or do something with. So open up your life to the strangers in our life, because I think you'll find strangers become friends very, very quickly. Until the next stranger, God bless you, be well, and we'll see you in the room next time. Ciao.